Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Unbreakable Life with Glory, the podcast where we talk about depression, anxiety, PTSD in a holistic way and natural way to always make you feel better. And this is Gloria Goldberg, the founder and the creator of this beautiful podcast. So, good afternoon, everybody. I'm coming back. I was a little bit on break because I've been going through a lot of changes in my life and a lot of things, good things are happening. So, I cannot complain. So, today I have a very special episode today is an episode. I have a lot of special guests, but this one it comes to my heart because my it's something that touched me in the deepest way because my guest went through something very similar, same as me, a little bit more longer. So I'm going to talk about kidnap. I'm a survivor for a kidnap situation. I was kidnapped also for 3 months in health and captivity in the dark. And I also experiment a lot of emotions up and down, depression, anxiety, and also I have a little bit of PTSD. I would say a little bit because sometimes I could react in some situations. I still work in the fear. I still work in a lot of stuff that hold sometimes back when you go through trauma, but also when you're conscious of what happens to you, you have to see it with a different lens. See, like this is like a for me was kind of bliss, and you would say a bliss, yes, a bliss because I was able to turn around my life and be able to succeed and be able to talk about this subject about depression and anxiety and to be able to help humanity. So my guest today, he's from the Netherlands. His name is Arjan Erkel, and he was kidnapped almost for 2 years for the rebels in Europe. And he's coming to tell us the story about it. He, after that, he he co-found the Free a Girl, a foundation that is dedicated to freeing young girls from forced prostitution. Since 2008, they have freed and give a second chance to more than 4,750 girls globally. So let's give him a welcome to Unbreakable Life with Glory, Arjan Erkel.
Hi, Gloria. What a nice introduction. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to be in Unbreakable Life with Glory. You know you are one of my, I would say, my favorite guests
Mhm.
because
Yeah, thanks.
I recognize I I reconnect with you with everything we went through.
Mhm.
So I know a lot of people don't know you very well. So I want you to give a little introduction. Who is Arjan Erkel and what happened to you?
Yeah, okay. No, I'm from the Netherlands, as you said. I'm 52 years old, from Rotterdam. It's the biggest harbor in Europe. And I was working for Doctors Without Borders. It's an NGO working in Chechnya and in Dagestan, which is part of Russia. And then I was kidnapped for 200, no, for 607 days. So for 20 months, they took away my freedom. They kept me in captivity in a small cage under the ground. And no, as you know, once you're kidnapped, you're full of fear. You don't know what's going to happen with you in the coming days. Every day could be the last day of your life. So there was, yes, 607 days of misery, of despair, but also of power, to find my power within again, because like your show is called Unbreakable, I also didn't want to be breakable. I wanted to be the survivor. I wanted to fight for myself. I wanted to come back to show people that I'm a tough one, that it takes takes a hard way to try to get me small. And afterwards, like you said, yeah, I got my freedom back. I got my happiness back. I was reunited with my family. It gave me so much power. You talked about the blessing. It's not a blessing to be kidnapped, but at least it's been
Right.
a learning lesson, an episode in my life that gave me lots of power, and I can still feel this power when needed. I don't use it every day, but I know I have perseverance. I can be disciplined. I can be patient. I can connect with people. I can be flexible. I can be tough. So yeah, in that sense, it gave me also good things. It was not just one big disaster. Furthermore, I'm married. I have three lovely daughters, and well, yeah, I'm giving lots of lectures all over Europe, and I want to also broaden my yeah my way to the United States. So it's definitely good to talk to you, Gloria. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you. You are such an inspiration for me because when I see you and hear your story, you was more time kidnapped than me. It doesn't mean that you're better than me or are better than you. It means like you overcome a lot, and I see you processing some of the stuff. So I want to ask you, so for people to understand, when the first time they kidnap you, the very first day,
Yes.
what kind of emotions do you encounter for people that to want to know about what happens when they kidnap you for their very first time?
Yeah. Shall I tell a little bit how they kidnapped me, or you're just
No,
more?
how
No.
was your emotions? What
Okay.
happens
Really,
to
the
you?
emotion. Yeah. So the first moment it was just big fear, like what's going to happen to me? Are they going to kill me? Are they going to torture me? How long will it take? Also the despair, like who's going to help me? I'm on my own. I can't trust anyone. I don't feel secure. So it's a mixture of all kind of emotions, and also a fear about being strong enough mentally, but not knowing what to say, how to say it to people, because I didn't want to offend them. I didn't want to make things worse. I had to de-escalate the situation. But I think the biggest feeling was that it was yeah, not unfair, but the injustice being done to me. Uh, why did I deserve to be kidnapped?
Right.
Why? The big question mark. I didn't deserve it. I'm not such a bad person that this should happen to me. So the injustice, the unfairness. Yeah,
Unfairness.
yeah,
Okay, so how long they stay that feeling of those emotions that you described to me? How long it lasts that?
yeah. It didn't go away all the time, but I tried to be calm. I didn't want to panic. I wanted to take control again of bits I could take control of. So in general, by maybe 1.5 hour, it yeah, it vanished a little bit, and then I could take over. That I could be calm and try to make a conversation with the kidnappers, and not making myself small anymore, because yeah, I needed to show that I'm a man, that I can take this situation, that I want to be respected, and that they cannot fool me any longer than just in the beginning.
So what I understand, because like we're gonna talk about also my case too, so people can see there's two cases, but we feel differently. When they kidnapped me, I was in fear completely. I was in shock. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't function. My mind was all over, and I feel little. Not like you saying that you like a 1 hour, 2 hours after you feel like you need to hold your position of a stronger man. In my case, it destroyed me. It was like they kidnapped me, and it was like my emotion went off, my brain
Yeah.
went off, everything went off. So this is my question to you. You got to that approach because you also knew other people that was kidnapped before, and they know how they are, so that's why you get into that kind of reaction with those kidnappers.
No, but we got some training because we were working in difficult
Okay.
areas. They told us, be quiet, don't panic. And of course, when you read those sentences, you think, yeah, how would I know how to react? But when I was in the car with a gun on my head, a gun on my chest, of course, I was fighting tears. I was fighting my urge to beg for my life, because in that culture it
Yes.
wouldn't fit. So then the sentence, don't panic, let your ration work for you. Uh, trust on your intuition. So yeah, I think in the heat of the moment, already my ration start to work, and of course still the fear and the unfairness was there, but I had to fight it because even all the bad emotions, all the tears that I didn't want to come out, they wanted to come out, but I had to fight them because I wanted to be the strong guy. Maybe that's why it was different, because in that culture men are supposed to be, yeah, like the old-fashioned men, that we are sometimes, people fight about men, but that in some cultures men should be men, and I knew that, yeah, I have to behave like one, and maybe that's why my emotions were a little bit, yeah, frozen, but not frozen that I didn't know what to do, but frozen in a way that I had to control them. They shouldn't be in the way of making my situation worse.
Well, but there's a big difference here because you was trained, you was educated what to
Yeah.
do in a situation like that. In my case, then I don't receive any education about that because
No.
the farthest thought that you have is like you can be kidnapped. I never thought I was gonna be kidnapped, and it happens the same like you. When I was kidnapped, I was why me, why me, why me, why me, and
Hmm.
I don't deserve this. Like the same
Yeah.
things that you question yourself, it was the same mind, but you had a train to come after an hour or 2 hours later to come
Yeah,
and
for
to
sure.
create an a
For sure.
strategy and create a strategy, because you at that point you come down, but because you need to create a strategy to keep your life safe, correct?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. But maybe also it's about my character that I don't like people who use their authority. I don't like police too much. I don't like military people too much. And but it's also about, yeah, training for sure, 100%. That
For sure.
I needed to control the situation, and maybe as a woman you can cry, and then people, and maybe you were thinking it's more a question. Did you think by crying that people would be softened, more softened
No,
to you?
no, no. It
No.
was a natural. It was a natural instinct that panic, fear,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a lot of crying. And I remember my father being in that situation. My father, he also told us all the time, if they wanna rob your car, let the car goes, and if they're gonna rob your
Yeah.
purse, let it go. Don't fight with the situation. But when they put a gun in your head, like it happens to you, they put gun in your head and take out from the car and put it in the trunk. You don't have much time to think about nothing. But I
No.
also remember my father in the moment telling me in my head, it, give the car away, because I thought in the beginning that was going to take my
Yeah.
car, but it was not my car, it was myself. So at the moment they threw me in the trunk, I remember clearly that my mind was spinning and very desperate and almost in a panic attack.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what it was, but it was a feeling that is still in my body because it was very heavy
Yeah.
in that moment for me.
No, for me it was more confusion in the beginning, and yeah, of course the fear of being killed. But then I took over,
Yes.
and I already started to think, what should I do? What should I say? How should I behave? How should I breathe? Because, yeah, I wanted to keep my dignity for sure. Because in that culture, dignity is really important. And yeah, that's why maybe I could yeah, be stronger than my emotions. Yep.
Yeah.
My
Uh,
ration took over quite quickly.
Well, in my case, my dignity, everything went down, like completely, destroyed me. In that moment, I
Hmm.
was destroyed completely, emotionally, mentally,
Yeah.
maybe not physical, but kind of emotionally, mentally, I was already destroyed.
No,
So a lot.
I felt also not completely destroyed, but I felt that I should be blamed. I didn't feel proud, for example. I felt you're like a loser who's being kidnapped, because
Wow,
who's going to be kidnapped? So that also, you ask for one emotion, but there are so many emotions, of course. So
many.
I thought, yes, is it a mistake that I'm kidnapped, or why me? Am I the simple guy who should be kidnapped? Of course, it does something with your your self-confidence and your self-esteem. But then luckily even the guys told me, don't worry, we should have kidnapped you anyway, because we were hunting for you for a month. This was a good moment to kidnap you, but we would have waited for any other moment to kidnap you because we wanted to kidnap you. So that also took away a bit of my feeling of being the loser, for sure. So it's the question is difficult to answer because there's so many, there's so many emotions. And
It's a roller coaster. So
yeah.
when you just finally come down, like after 1 hour, 2 hours, come down, and your mind was settled, when you start making a strategy, what exactly happened next? What exactly you start, the way you talking? How was what was your plan in your mind to be able to keep your life, yourself alive?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a real plan, but I wanted to know for sure what's going on because
Right.
there's so much things you don't know, so much insecurity, so much
Yes.
questions. So, for example, I wanted to know the ransom. How much are they going to ask for my ransom? So, which was also a strategy maybe to shorten the kidnapping because in Chechnya and in Dagestan, it's part of southern Russia, there's lots of kidnappings, and a general kidnapping takes 6 months, and you can be really uh, humiliated. You can be tortured, but most
Yes.
of the time it's ending well. So that's the good thing of being kidnapped in that area. That if people pay, you will be released. And yes, so I was looking for this. Yeah, the safe way out is by paying money. So I wanted them to know how much are they going to ask, because then I knew if it's going to take a long negotiation period or it would take a shorter. And yeah, I also had to make them feel that they are safe with me, that I'm not like a spy, or that I'm not like Rambo, because I was much bigger than them, and they thought I was a spy and that I was like James Bond. And I had to tell them, no, I'm just a simple humanitarian aid worker. I didn't even have a military background. But of course, they didn't believe me. So I was thinking my strategy was play it safe, make contact, make them understand that I'm a human being, that they should behave, that they should look after me. And somehow, maybe because I'm quite easy with people, they also calm down. I had to calm them down as well. So it was definitely going into how to make the situations more safe. Yeah.
In my case, I the question, it was not about the money. I was asking when I'm gonna go home, when you guys gonna release me, because I would say ignorant. I doesn't mean I'm ignorant. I was ignorant of what exactly happened in a situation like
Hmm.
that. So I was not thinking about the money. I was thinking more when I go home. I want to see my daughter. I want to be with her, like a little girl. Like my little
Yeah.
girl comes out and like I want to go home. I want to go home and crying a lot to them. Please let me go. Let me go. Let me go.
Yeah.
Until the very next day they come and say, you are kidnapped, and they explained to me exactly what's going to happen. And
Hmm.
I thought it was gonna be a quick situation, and went for months, for 3 months. So you knew how long you was gonna be, or you thought you was gonna go quickly to home.
No, of course, you never know for how long it would
You
take,
never know.
but I hoped it would be, yeah, by taking down the ransom, that it would take less time and less than 6 months. And then after a week, they told me, yeah, we made contact with your organization and it's going to take 2 months. And at that time, I thought, wow, only 2 months, I can definitely survive. I can do with
Right.
all the problems, but for 2 months, I can take the energy and the power to, yeah, to survive such a period. But then I didn't know it was going to take 20 months. I think if I knew from the beginning it would be such a long time, but at least then you know you will survive. The most difficult, and I think you agree, is also that you're not 100% sure that you will survive such a situation. And so that the idea that any moment they can kill you, yeah, it
Yes.
never goes away out of your system for 100%. Sometimes you can, you put it in the back of your mind. I don't know how you did it. Sometimes there were 1 or 2 days I didn't think about it for, yes, maybe 48 hours. But then, of course, you think again, this will be my last day. I will
Yes.
have to die under the ground. I will never see the fresh air anymore. And it makes you, yeah, it makes you so sad. And like I said, the injustice and the unfairness of the situation, that's so painful. Now I also feel it again. It goes all the way in your heart, that how can other people treat you, that you cannot even, yeah, before you die, you cannot even see the sunlight, or you cannot breathe outside. And yeah, that was very horrible, of course. Yeah.
Right. In my case, they told me that um, I said, "How long you guys gonna have me here?" And they said, "Oh, we don't know yet. Everything is depends. Could be 3 to 6 months, and if your family doesn't pay anything, so we're gonna sell you to other people, so those people can keep you there for a year or longer, because
Wow.
this is a business. You know that this is a business for them."
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
and you are the merchandise.
yeah,
So I said, "Oh my God, no, 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 I want to go home soon. Oh my God, what you guys gonna do?" And they left. So
hmm,
you get to that sensation like, "Oh my God, this is gonna be here for a long time. I
yeah,
don't know if I'm gonna make it. I don't know if I'm gonna do it," because it's that sensation. And you asked me how I was, if I was thinking on that every day. Yes, I was thinking every day, I want to go home. I want to go home, because especially I had a 3 year a 3 year
yeah,
old girl, my daughter.
yeah,
So
horrible.
that was my anchor. Like, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go.
Yeah,
And it's like a constantly suffering the whole entire time. But also, this is this next question I'm going to ask you. When you start accepting the situation, and like, okay, I'm here, I need to live my life in this situation, when you start accepting that.
yeah. That I think took a bit longer, because I was
Yes.
moved from one house to the other house, and from one group to the other group. And so when I was for a second week in the second group, I settled down. I was put in a, yeah, like I said, in a very small cage under the ground. And in the beginning, I cried a lot. I I
Yes.
I was frustrated, angry, like all the things you normally do when you're, yeah, when you're in a mourning process, like mourning for the, yeah, for the end of my life almost. And it felt like a grave. I felt
Yes.
horrible. But then I realized, yeah, like you said, you have to accept the situation, because it's not going to change because of crying. It's not going to change because of frustration. You have to settle down, think that one day you will go home, and in the meantime, really make the best out of this situation. Don't be angry at them. Don't be impolite. Don't be like a weapon that can explode any moment. So then I realized, okay, try to do small things that can change the situation and that can make it better, but don't look at how to escape, or
No
how
way.
to change the team that wants to negotiate about the money. Of course, there were plans to escape all the time, but
Yes.
yeah, there's only one way how to do it, and it's the proper way. You cannot make a mistake when you try to flee. And yeah, that settled me down. It took, I think, in total after 15 days. So the first
Yes.
group kept me 1 week, then the second group kept me 1 week, and then a couple of days. Yeah,
That
no,
took me.
20. So 22 days it took me. Sorry. So 1 week with the first group, then 1 week with the second group, and then 1 week in my little cell, and then after 1 week in my cell, then I settled down. Yeah.
In my case, it took me 11 days
Okay.
to settle after being crying every single day.
Yeah.
Not every time, because your body
No
cannot produce all these emotions
tears.
like that.
Not.
You get tired and you fall to sleep. Not like you want to go to sleep. You fall to sleep because you are drained emotionally, mentally, everything.
Mhm.
You drain. And 11 days after, and I said, well, this is the only situation I have right now. Now, what I should do. And I started a process of like a lot of silence, like a silence, watching, smelling, hearing, observing when they come
Mhm.
in, when they bring me the food, how they bring the food, who bring me the food. I never see the face of any guy. So it was like more like reading and studying the body, the
Yeah,
movement, the voice, the way they smell, because you get into that moment that of survival mode, that your smell, your eyes, your ears, your intuition get amplified because you are in survival
yeah,
completely mode.
definitely. Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. For me, I also didn't see any faces, but then yeah, I had to pay attention to the color of the eyes, the way they're
Yes,
breathing, the way they smell, the way they walk. Um, yeah, and you use your senses much better than in a normal life. And
yes,
I also try to make myself being seen as a human being, and I also had to see them as human beings. So I gave
right,
nicknames, for example. I was really, like you said, observing them. But I'm an anthropologist, so I'm glad I had that skills. That I should be patient. That I just should look. I shouldn't be making too many, yeah, assumptions. I just needed yeah, their life to yeah, sort of mingle with my life, and then maybe I could fit in the
exactly.
process. Yeah.
But you do that process very slow, because in that moment you are studying. In my case, it's like intuition. You start studying each one, and you know who you can talk at the end, because not
Mhm.
everyone you cannot talk, because you cannot trust, because you can make a mistake just saying something, and the other person can go out and amplify something different, and you can get killed.
Yeah,
So you have to be careful and study who you can probably connect that your energies to be able to talk like a human, like
no,
to
for
start,
sure,
like
definitely.
like start saying thank you for the food, or thank you for the water, thank you to take me out for a shower, thank you for the toilet paper.
Hmm. Hmm.
Stuff that you start breaking them down. In your case, do you also have to do that, recognize to who to talk, and you be able to be safe to talk to that person too?
Definitely, definitely. You're choosing the ones that are maybe a bit softer or
Yes,
that are funny. So definitely,
yes.
yeah, observing what was really an important part of it. And no, as you know, you don't have things to do anyway. And so I think in normal life,
Exactly.
yeah, you don't take the time to have a good look and how do they behave. But now, yeah, like I said, I wanted to give nicknames to them according to the way they behaved, according to the picture I made of them. And yeah, like the smartest one I called Professor, and the best friendly one I called the Red Cross, like because he took care of me a little bit. And so I try to break the barriers. But it
Yes,
yeah definitely takes time to figure out someone and how to deal with them. And that's also for me. It was also some kind of a sport to find out how can I deal with them. And I had to realize I have to behave different with different kind of peoples because everyone is different. So you have to connect in different ways, which was also interesting process for myself because normally you are just one person and you try to figure out. But now I had to pay much more attention of how do I, yeah, behave towards other people. And there was one guy I called him Professor. He was sort of the softest one, and I made a face for myself how I thought he would look. And yeah, he had a soft face and with nice Bambi colored eyes. So he was one of the guys that yeah, they were friendly to me, and their boss because it was the boss. I think he had the discipline to yeah, behave normal with me, and he was a good example to the other people as well. And luckily I had a yeah, the chief kidnapper was more or less a well educated person,
yes,
and we could also match. For example, can I give an example? I like
yes,
Pulp Fiction, and my kidnapping, yeah, looked like Pulp Fiction because there was a gun on my head, and I was
yes.
afraid that they would shoot me by accident because, like in the movie Pulp Fiction, where John Travolta shoots
Right, right,
someone.
right.
Yeah, and then yeah, this general, he was from the second group, so he asked me, yeah, how were you kidnapped? And I said, yeah, it felt like Pulp Fiction. And then he said, it's my favorite movie. And then we talked for 10 minutes about Pulp Fiction while we didn't see each other and we didn't know each other. I was afraid of him. He was maybe a little bit afraid of me that I would, yeah, try to escape. But that from that moment we sort of had a yeah, we started to build up rapport already. Yeah, which was quite interesting. And of
Yes,
course,
and my
like your survival mode, you are much more sharp on how they how they react towards your words. Yeah.
yes, and you use a strategy. It's like it's in you and everybody have that. It's just
Hmm.
amplifying in a situation like that. In my case, because I'm a woman and I was very young, 25 years old when that happens, so I got into the soft side of the guys, like thank you so much with that voice, like a very
Uh-huh.
delicate. So I
Yeah.
start like not seduction, but I use the feminine power, I would say, and they start breaking down, and because my softness and thank you and so grateful with them
Hmm.
because I was in this situation, and they start suffering, both me and them, the syndrome, Stockholm syndrome, and one of them, they listen to music, and one guy came in and I said, "Oh, I love that song that you playing outside," like and the guy said, "Oh, really? You want to dance?" I said, "Yeah." So we
Okay.
dance. I never see his face, but we was dancing,
Did
and
you touch
also
each other, or it was like
no, like dancing, like not like this, like not
no,
like
no, no,
this, but
no?
dancing, like
Yeah, like a disco
moving.
dance.
And
Yeah.
for me, it was like, oh my god, it feels so good because I had already a month in, and with no radio, no music, no TV, nothing, in solitude. So
Hmm.
that movement and that conversation that I break that guy in that moment, it
Yeah.
was like a okay. And this guy got into, he probably got Stockholm syndrome, because Stockholm syndrome, both they can have. If they don't have a strong mind, they can get attached to you, or you definitely you get attached to them because you are so grateful that they keep you alive. You're so grateful they give you food. You're so grateful because they take you out for a shower. So the smallest stuff gets it compares in the biggest stuff in your life. So this guy got into, like, bring me the breakfast every day, and being so extra nice. And then I said, I'm a little bit afraid that this guy is getting attached to me more than he's supposed to.
Hmm.
And definitely he did. And then 2 weeks later, he said, "Oh, I think I'm in love with you." And he removed his cap out of his head.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
said, "I don't want to see you, please, 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 no, 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 no." And I definitely see his face,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
it was very young. And also I got into afraid for 3 days, very afraid what he did, because I said he's gonna use that he would say I took his max out,
Ah,
and they're
yeah.
gonna kill me for that.
But
And
but.
it took me 3 days to think about what I was gonna do. And I
Mhm.
said, I need to tell this to the boss, to the guy who's the leader of this group, because I'm not gonna be killed for this situation.
Yeah, okay. But maybe it's an impolite question, but for example, they wanted me to become Muslim, but I told them no, I'm not going to change my religion, which was also quite difficult to say. But sometimes they say with the Stockholm syndrome that you try to become closer. Did you ever think of using your female, yeah, like seduction to as a game changer or
No, it
no?
was a natural response. It was a natural survival mode that I would say women have, like we
Hmm.
had, like we women have a lot of power. Men too have a lot of power, but women have that extra little, no, extra power to be able to break a man.
Yeah,
And I did that, and I did it twice, because there was another guy too that he saw me going into depression, because one day they bring me the food and I couldn't get up because I was in completely depression. I couldn't function anymore. I don't want to live anymore. I was so sad and depressed. So this guy said, "Oh my God, you are into like depression mode." And the guy was more educated than the other one. And
Yeah.
this guy sat down, he pulled me up, sat down next to me, and give me my food to for me to come back, because I was like, I don't wanna leave. So that guy and me, we got like like attached. I was more grateful with him to be able
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
take me out from that depression that I was going through. So for me, it was like a hero for me in that moment. So
Yeah.
it's not like it was imposed. It was something that it happens when you are in solitude and kidnap, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
get attached in some way to the kidnappers.
No, but there's a difference between being attached and using your body, like the Me Too and some actresses, they do some extra services to the producer and then they move up. But no, for me, it was also you have to don't betray yourself. You can try to make connection, but in a way that it still feels like you're not selling yourself. That was my way of doing it. Like I didn't want to become a Muslim. I didn't want to betray my culture. But of course, I try to make connections by maybe talking about yeah things that I didn't want to talk in normal life. But it's also showing interest in their life. Yeah, and sometimes you be
Right, exactly.
yeah should be
Yes.
more patient with things than in normal life. For example, if I don't understand your way of dealing with your hobby and you have a hobby which is completely not interesting to me, I would say, yeah, let's talk about something else. But there, it was also nice to talk to someone because no one talked to me. And then you ask more questions and you try to save some time and that you have at least a little bit of company. But I think yeah, that's also normal. It's not part of a syndrome. It's part of yeah how to waste your time. I think even sometimes I ask them, did you really like me, or you talked to me because you felt pity for me? And they said no. Of course, in the beginning we felt pity for you, but later on you also yeah, showed to be a nice person to talk to. So it was also yeah, which was nice for me to hear that it was really because it was interesting to talk to me instead of they felt pity for me, which is two different things, of course. Yeah,
That exactly they said about me. They said, "Oh my God, if you knew you was like this, it's so so cool, so nice. We should not even think about to kidnap you." I said, "Well, it's too late. I'm here."
I'm here. Yeah, but it also gives you a little bit of trust that they are not going to kill you, at least.
Right, exactly.
Of course, you will never know for sure. But I think in the beginning, I also knew from my training that you should try to be building up a connection so it becomes more difficult for them to kill you. And at the end,
Exactly.
there was a ultimatum video made, and they said, "Yeah, we will. If no one pays, we will kill you in 10 days." And then
Yes.
they ran out of those 10 days, and I asked them, "Who's going to kill me?" They said, "Yeah, we're not going to kill you because it's too difficult for us." So I was relieved, but then they said, "Yeah, we will hire someone else who doesn't know you, and he will
Oh
kill
my
you."
God.
So at the end, yeah, I never thought about that, yeah, that option that they could also hire sort of a killer to get rid of me. So um, yeah, I never thought about that because you always learn you should make a report with your kidnappers, and then they don't want to kill you. But of course, in their group, there's lots of people who don't know you, and then they can
They don't
easily
care about you.
they don't care about you. So
They also love to do that.
yeah, some people do. Some people are yeah. So it's. But of course, you can always in the short term by being friendly, by being polite, you can also try to yeah steal their heart a little bit. That
Yes, a little bit. Yes.
yeah, maybe it starts with respect or appreciation, and then yeah, slowly. Maybe it's a little bit of manipulation in the beginning. I don't know how you
Yes.
look at that. Yeah,
I remember one part of this of your story that I like a lot. There's two parts of the story that I like, but one is like it makes me feel they give me a smile when you said that you do exercise, when you was doing exercise and the
yeah,
guy was watching you how you do exercise. At the end, they was asking you how to also do exercise, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I wanted to be fit because maybe I could run away, and my girlfriend. I thought maybe she will be even more happy to see me if I have a big six pack, a six pack, and broad shoulders. And the guys even told me, "Yeah, you should be happy that you're kidnapped because you're much more athletic now Then the moment you came into our house, yeah, and sometimes we were training together with two guys, definitely, and yeah, once we were boxing, real fighting without gloves. That was
That's
really
the
scary also.
that's the other story that I like too.
Yeah, but that was really scary, Gloria, because I didn't know them so well at the beginning. They didn't know me, and it was really like a fight to show who's the yeah who's the ape, or how you call it, the yeah, the alpha man. And I did some boxing, but I could see in their faces that they were much, how you call it, wilder, or this that, much more. They could really
Raw,
hurt someone, and
right?
yeah. And I was, when I box, it's always for fun, and then you stop at a certain moment. So they were much tougher, and so I tried to make a story that yeah, I'm the tough guy from Rotterdam. I'm from the projects, and we were fighting a lot on the streets, and it was not true, but I tried to intimidate them.
Impress
But
them. Yeah.
yeah, but then they asked, okay, how many people did you kill? I said, yeah, I never killed someone. And then the guy said, yeah, I killed 17 Russian soldiers. I cut their throats, and you will be the next one that I will, yeah, beat up. And then I was like, okay, this is not
Ooh.
something I want to do. But then, yeah, I had to stand up. I had to defend my own pride. And then we were fighting, and he hit me so hard. And then that moment, I didn't hit him. But then when he hit me so hard on my eye, then I also started to beat him up. And then he told me, okay, you showed us that you can, yeah, stand up for yourself. Please go back to your room, which was, yeah, was cool, because I was really proud. I had a black eye for sure. I felt my heart knocking in my eye. But then he came and he put away his masks, and he also showed that he had a black eye. It was smaller than mine, but yeah, I really hit him here, and yeah, that was a good feeling. But standing up for yourself, fighting for your position, yeah, it all sounds like medieval behavior, but
Right.
yeah, but sometimes you still should be able to be, yeah, to be part of that medieval world, maybe.
So
Yeah, it sounds a bit, maybe I'm medieval since then, but yeah, sometimes you should be able to defend yourself, to defend your family.
yes.
So I think, of course, the world would be better if we don't fight, but until it's not so far, we should be able and know how to defend ourselves. You don't have to attack, but at least you should be able to defend yourself.
So let's move forward to the release. When they release you, you were so happy. Can you also tell us the emotion that you had in that moment when they release you?
Yeah, uh, yeah. So I was put in a trunk, and then they took me out. And I was not so happy indeed. I was like, what's going on? Are you trying to fool me? And because I saw their faces for the first time, it was a new group, so I was
Ooh,
really shocked. Like, wow, you're going to kill me, because I didn't
yes.
know I was released. And then they said, no, we're not going to kill you. You're a free man now. And then there came a guy with a phone, and he called the Dutch embassy. And then I still didn't believe it. It took me, I think, 3 hours to really understand I was free. And it was only after I went back to Moscow, when I saw the Dutch ambassador, then I heard him like, wow, he's my savior. He's
Yes.
the one that I can trust. And now I know for sure that I'm free. Yeah, and then of course I was happy, but still I was disappointed so many times, because for 6 7 times, yeah, they told me you're going to be released, you're going to be
Yes.
released, and now I still had the idea, yeah, maybe something goes wrong. Please wait, just fly home. And when I saw my mother on the tarmac of the airport, and her face, her smile was so wonderful, and the way she embraced me as her lost son, who's back in her arms again. Yeah, that was also a great moment. And to see my father, to give my father this bear hug. Uh, yeah, so it took me quite some time to realize this is really true, and you're safe. No one is going to shoot the airplane out of the sky. No one is going to bump into your car to kill you. Yeah, that was so. Yeah, it took a long time for me. And for you, how was it?
For me too, I couldn't believe because they don't tell you when they're gonna release you. So one night they came and say, one morning they came and say you're gonna be released tonight. I said what? And I remember that day was the longest day in my entire life because I was like I don't have no time. So I feel that the time was going slower and I don't know. I can see the day. I couldn't see the day and night, but I have a little window that you can see a little bit of light that you know is
Yeah,
daytime,
yeah,
and I saw that light all the time. I said, "Oh my God, when is gonna became dark?" you know,
yeah, yeah,
and even when the star became dark, I knocked the door many times and said, "When you guys gonna release me? When you guys gonna release me?" And the guy got frustrated with me and say, "You know what? If you keep knocking the door, we're not gonna release you." So I said, "Okay, I'm gonna wait, patient." So they released me,
yeah.
in the city, and I didn't know what to do. I don't
Hmm.
know how to dial the phone. I don't know what to do. I was like in shock, like where I
Yeah,
am. I don't know where I am because I was first time out for 3 months. And the guy said to me, when you get out, listen to this, when you get out, please get a taxi. Don't tell the taxi that you was already coming out from kidnap because there could be other groups that want to kidnap you again. I said, oh
yeah,
no, I wanna do whatever you have to say to me. So he gave me coins. I put the coins in the phone. I don't know how to dial. I forget to dial. I don't know even remember the number from my home. And
no,
then I went into the taxi. I didn't say anything to the taxi. And the taxi driver, he said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm okay. Where you want me to take you?" I said, "Home." And he said, "Where's home? Are you okay?" I said, "Oh yes. Um, go this way."
yeah,
And the first thing I saw was my daughter of 3 years old, and we hugged for hours. And she was, mommy, I don't want you to go anymore again away. It was very powerful. My family was
yeah,
everybody was happy. So, and then after that, it was a little bit of misery because I get out and my father don't want to let me go anywhere. So I was more in more isolated because my father was afraid that
yeah,
these
yeah.
things happens to
So
me
you were
again.
taken captive again.
Yes. So that
That's
happens to you, or you went to freedom like
no.
normal?
They, they also, yeah. Of course, it's not being taken captive, but it felt like 3 days because they were so worried. They say, yeah,
Yes.
we want to observe you. You have to sleep with your sister, or you have to sleep with with my father and mother. There were also all kind of activities like yeah, like a big reception because I came home.
Yes.
Lots of because I was suddenly I became very well known in the Netherlands. I was one of the well people, yeah, very famous people, which I didn't know, which was also a bit scary because everyone was
Yes.
looking at me, and I didn't expect that because I
Right.
thought no one cared about me. And why did I have to sit for such a long time? And then suddenly you're the big hero. But it took me 3 days, and uh, yeah, I still remember that. I thought, yeah, I just want to go home. I'm 34 years old. I just survived the kidnapping. Let me go home because I know how to deal with it. So yeah, that felt also a bit strange. Also, I had a big, um, how do you call it, media attention. And then they also didn't allow me to speak, which I also found a bit strange. But later I
Right.
understood that, yeah, maybe they expected me to say that, yeah, some negative things or bad
Right.
things. So it was always because even with your father, I think, because he cared about you.
Right.
But yeah, but yeah, it definitely felt, yeah,
No,
I'm old
he don't
enough. I
want
just
me to go
survived.
anywhere.
No,
And I said, "Oh my God, this is terrible.
yeah,
This is terrible."
yeah.
So, let's talk about your book.
Hmm. Yeah, I've written a book about it. It's called Held Hostage. It became number one bestseller on Amazon, which is really, really cool. And yeah, it writes about the episode of my kidnapping, but also the lessons learned, how I, yeah, really understood what freedom is, and how we sometimes take away our own freedoms by our own fears of making the next step in life, or our fears to break away from people that we don't love anymore, or that we're taken hostage by financial situation or by our mental situation. And it's also about how I try to make this episode meaningful, because I can, yeah, just being kidnapped is not enough. I should try to tell other people about how they could change their life by understanding the importance of freedom, and that freedom can really be the start of a new life, of new, uh, yeah, of evolution in your life. It can make really a change if you understand that it can be the, yeah, creativity starts with freedom. A new life starts with freedom. So lots of things start with freedom, and I think that's the engine of life. And that's what I've written in the book as well. So it's, from one side, it's a nice, almost like a movie about my kidnapping and my fight and my survival and how I dealt with it, but also about the lesson learned, and how people can, yeah, really start making a new life by reading my, yeah, the way I
So,
dealt with it. Yeah,
so I have
it's
another
not,
question. Yeah, go ahead.
no. Then you go ahead.
I have another question before we go. Do you know other people that are being kidnapped and they have the power that you have to be able to talk about freely and write a book and come out and tell the story?
No, personally, I don't know anyone in the Netherlands who did the same. There are some people, of course, in the world that can do that. For example, just died, I think, last year. This Terry Waits from Ireland, who was kidnapped for 5 years.
Hmm.
But in the Netherlands, I'm lots of times I'm invited by the police and the army, and they say, of course, there's more people being kidnapped, but no one can talk about it without, yeah, reliving all the traumatic
Yes.
experiences, or can talk with some jokes about it. And luckily, I from the beginning, when I came back, I had a little bit of distance about my own kidnapping. And also, when I started to sleep the first night, I had still hair. There was a big shiver from all the way from my head all the way to my toes, and I think all the dirt went out of my, yeah, my body. I have lots of thoughts about my kidnapping, but it never makes me freeze or makes me afraid. So that's the luck I have. And I don't know about you. You can also talk about it easily, but are you
I,
still
it took me 19 years to be able to talk about this subject. It was more afraid to talk about it because I never see the faces of these guys. And I said I want to talk about this subject, not trying to stir the pot. I just want to be able to talk about the emotions and how we can get out and move in life with those situations of big traumas, I would say.
Mhm.
And I keep going and I keep going. It took me 19 years just because the fear, just that's the fear to talk about it. Because I also
Yeah,
encounter other people that are being kidnapped and they're so afraid to talk about it.
yeah,
And I understand that. Nobody can understand that other kidnap and I respect that. But I also, when I met you already a year and a half or 2 years, I think,
yeah,
I like, oh my God, I found another person that can be able to talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
same situation and different countries and different situations, but very similar or the same emotions we went through. And you are right. You write your book to inspire people. You are a public speaker to inspire people. I'm writing my book that is gonna come out next year, and also I also did some very few public speaking, and I know it's gonna come,
yeah,
but that's my purpose, just to help people that are being kidnapped. And
yeah.
you also don't need to be kidnapped to not feel free, like you just said. You
No,
sometimes we are
true,
in
true.
relationships that we are not free.
No,
And
no, no, it's true. Once I was introduced as the person who was kidnapped for 20 months or taking hostage for 20 months. And then a guy stood up. He said, 20 months, 20 months. I'm already taking hostage by my wife for 30 years.
oh my
And
God,
of course, it
yes,
was a joke,
yeah.
but there's also, yeah, some truth sometimes, that we stick
Yes,
with the wrong people, and we take again the wrong relationship. Some people always take the wrong partner. Uh, uh, yeah, so to break free from the patterns that doesn't help you, that's really important, and that's what
Right.
I try to help people with in my speeches. There's always freedom of choice, but yeah, you should be aware of the consequences, of course.
So you don't have no fears. Like yes, you have yeah, instant fear, but you don't have no more fear to talk about this
No,
openly.
no, people can ask anything. Of course, I have fear about losing my wife or losing my children, but it's different
Yes.
here. But about
Right.
kidnapping, no, people can ask anytime. I sometimes I go to schools, and then yeah, the children always ask yeah the real questions, and they don't have the
Questions.
fear to be impolite, and yeah, so they can ask anything. Of course, sometimes I say it's not appropriate to talk about it, or that it's not part of your business. But in general, yeah, I want to share the real story because other people also learn that they can feel self mercy. Sometimes, for example, self pity. Yeah, you also said we felt it, and it's nothing wrong with it. But some people feel yeah afraid, or they don't want to show their vulnerability. But it's okay to be a victim every now and then. But
Right.
don't stay a victim, and don't let the past ruin your future. And try to learn the don't try to change the past. Lots of people are fighting with the past, but it doesn't help you. You also have to accept your past, but then build on top of it. And you don't have to remember it all the time, but you can make it part of your life. At least some people can, and I'm glad that I was able to do so. But I had a very good mental coach, I think. Yeah.
So can you talk about your foundation, that the girls that you help?
Yeah, yeah, of course. It's called Free a Girl. We have a website in the USA as well, freeagirl.com. And what we do is there's lots of child abuse, and lots of children, even from 9 till 15, they are taken away, and they have to, yeah, they are sexually abused. And we free them in India, in Thailand, in Brazil. We send out rescue teams. We sponsor them, we fundraise for them, and then in connection with the police, they either yeah, make sure they are released, or they do lots of prevention so that they are not being kidnapped and being taken away to all those dark places. So since 2008, like you said, we freed more than 5,000 children already, and we also try to reunite them with their family. And if the family doesn't want them back in their arms, we send them to yeah, to places where yeah, how you call it, safe houses where they can live, where they can study, where they can become maybe like a carpenter if they like, or doing their hair like hairdresser. The simple jobs, but even we have a school for justice. The intelligent, a little bit older girls, they can even go to law school, and we hope that they will be the lawyers and the judges from the future, so they can
Oh my
really,
God.
yeah, fight the impunity. That's
That's
really a
beautiful.
cool program.
Very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. Free a
So
girl, definitely. So if people feel like joining us and assisting us and donating money, please go to the website. And yeah, there's really like almost 1 million girls that being in situation like that. And
every year, every time.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Every
from
minute, every minute.
yeah, even in the Netherlands, even in the USA, and we always think it's far away, but even in our countries, it's also happening. So it's really horrible because it's minor girls that don't know that they don't deserve this,
Right.
and there's no way if we don't help them, if we don't yeah kick asses to the police, that they should yeah get out of there, get them out of there definitely.
Well, Arjan, we already an hour. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you, Gloria.
Thank you to being Unbreakable Life with Glory. I know this is not gonna be the second time and not the last one.
No, definitely not. We're going to
And
meet.
and you are my inspiration.
Thank you. This is yeah, and I love you. I love being in your show, and you're also showing lots of strength, and thank you for that, and thank you that you have your show to reach out to the people and assist them. Definitely.
Thank you so much. So I'm gonna put you in the green room, and if you have to go, I talk to you
Yeah.
another moment, and I'm gonna wrap it up the show and talk to you soon.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Gracias.
you.
Okay.
Gracias. Cariños. Chao.
Ciao, ciao.
Chao, chao. Wow. Wow, I'm so happy. You guys don't know how beautiful is this episode for me. And he's inspirational for me because he went more time than me. And you guys know that we we went through the same similar stuff, same emotions, fear, roller coaster, strategy, etc., etc., etc. So I'm so happy today that I was able to accomplish the mission on talking about depression, anxiety, emotions, everything that take us into trauma roller coasters, emotion roller coasters. And the only mission that I have is just to open your eyes, your ears, and your head to go in your life, to walk your path more free, more freedom, with more freedom, to be able to make changes in your life. If you are in a toxic relationship, get out from that relationship. If you are in a toxic environment or work, also make the opportunity and in the effort to say no more, no more, and make a change. Don't be afraid to make a change, because there's always when you make a change, a lot of things, a lot of miracles happen. And also for people to be aware of their surroundings, and to not flash too much, to not show too much information, because there's some people there that are watching you, and business is business, and we being kidnapped, and I don't want you to be kidnapped. But if you one day and you are in a situation like us, always remember to break the heart of your enemies with kindness, with love, and you will be able to survive. And that's exactly what I did, and that's exactly what Arjan did. We break the hearts with kindness, with love, and with surrounder. And thank you so much. This is Gloria Goldberg, the founder of the podcast Unbreakable Life with Glory, that I come every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time in Spanish, at 3 p.m. Eastern Time in English. And see you next week. And thank you to be here. And I'm done with my mission today. Thank you so much. I love you all. And keep safe. And let's work together to have a better world in this world. Thank you so much. But the world starts from you. Bye bye.